He robbed 5 banks, got sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. But behind bars, he didn't just serve time. He read hundreds of legal books, wrote petitions for fellow inmates, and won a case at the U.S. Supreme Court. After prison, he became a lawyer. How does a convicted felon earn a seat in a prestigious law school and eventually teach at a university himself? This isn't just a redemption story. It's proof of one thing. One bad decision doesn't have to define your life. This is the story of Shon Hopwood, from inmate to lawyer. Shon Hopwood was born and raised in a quiet, peaceful town in the state of Nebraska, USA. Life there was simple, no noise, no glamour, but in the small Hopwood home, love was abundant. His father was a military veteran, his mother a homemaker who cared for the family. They raised their children with a mix of discipline and compassion, always emphasizing 3 values: honesty, hard work, and responsibility. From a young age, Shon proved to be a smart, kind-hearted child who always gave his best. He did well in school, was loved by his teachers, and had a particular passion for sports, especially basketball. Many afternoons, people would see that boy tirelessly practicing free throws after class, sweat soaking through his shirt, but his eyes never losing their determination. Shon's life seemed to be painted with positive colors. Good friends, a stable family, and more importantly, he had earned a college scholarship. That was the dream for many young people in his small town: to go far, get a degree, and escape the cycle of repetitive, labor-heavy jobs that define much of rural life. No one, not even Shon, could have imagined that just a few years later, his path would take a completely different turn. The truth is, many of life's downward spirals don't begin with one big event. They begin with small cracks, so small no one notices. A quiet sense of being lost, a flicker of self-doubt, one small step back, then another. Until one day, you realize you've wandered further than you thought. At around 18 or 19, Shon began to feel uncertain. He wasn't sure what he really wanted to study, to do, or to become. Even with a scholarship in hand, he found himself increasingly disconnected from college life, from his classes, and even from himself. The youthful drive he once had began to fade, replaced by a vague sense of aimlessness that made everything around him feel dull. But at that time, no one saw that Shon was starting to lose his way. On the outside, he was still the town's golden boy, a young man full of promise, someone people believed in. But inside, an emptiness was beginning to only the beginning. Shon understood clearly. The road ahead would not be easy. Every day, he faced skeptical looks from some classmates and professors. No one said it out loud, but he knew. There were still those who saw him as just a former bank robber, someone who didn't deserve a place in such a prestigious lecture hall. But that only pushed him harder. Shon didn't come to class just to study law. He studied to prove a point: people can change. The past doesn't have to be a life sentence if you have the courage to confront it and rise above. He took careful notes during every lecture, participated in every discussion, and was often the last to leave the library at night. Many were surprised by the depth of his legal knowledge. No one imagined that he had taught himself all of it behind bars, using old books and the dim light of a prison cell. One day, a professor pulled Shon aside after class. He said, "You're not just good, you're exceptional. And what I admire most is this: you've used the law not to harm others, but to protect them." The compliment didn't make Shon arrogant. It made him more humble, because he knew he was representing something greater: second chances. Every step he took, every essay he wrote, wasn't just for himself. It was for all those the world had once deemed hopeless. After graduating with honors, Shon passed the bar exam. For someone with a criminal record, this wasn't simple. He had to undergo intense ethical scrutiny, stand before the bar committee, and present his full story of redemption. After months of review, the committee made its final decision. They granted Shon Hopwood the right to practice law. From that moment on, a new chapter of Shon's life began. He started working at a legal organization that helped low-income individuals and inmates seeking case reviews. With his first-hand experience in prison and extraordinary research skills, Shon became a beacon of hope for those without a voice. Many who had once felt hopeless found justice thanks to his dedication and insight. To them, Shon wasn't just a lawyer, he was living proof of one powerful truth: no matter how far you've fallen, you can still get back up. Success followed success, but Shon continued to live a modest life. He got married, had children, and always made time for his family. For him, holding his child in his arms meant more than any courtroom victory, because he knew how close he had come to losing it all. In 2017, Shon was invited to teach at Georgetown University, one of the top law schools in the U.S. He stood at the front of the classroom, a place once reserved only for the perfect, teaching young students how to understand, respect, and defend the law. Many of his students didn't initially know that the professor before them was once an inmate. But when they found out, they didn't leave the class. They stayed, listened, and admired. Shon never hid his past. He shared it in books, on stage, at conferences, and in prisons across America, not to seek pity, but to give hope. He said, "I'm living proof that a terrible mistake doesn't mean you're a terrible person. What defines you is how you choose to live after you've fallen." Later, he wrote a memoir titled Lawman, a bestseller frequently cited in discussions about criminal justice reform and the right to redemption. Today, Shon Hopwood is more than a lawyer or professor. He is an advocate, a speaker, and an inspiration to thousands around the world, especially to those who have made mistakes and are looking for a way back.